Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to the #1 Divine Intervention virtual event, the D.I.V.E Social-Summit for short. If you are new to D.I.V.E live online, then my name is Iona Meade, your purpose-driven business owner and founder of the Soul Speakers Academy. So I've brought 49 guest experts into the Social Summit for you, who I like to call Soul Speakers, where they'll be sharing with you soul-inspired, intuitive business, lifestyle, and marketing strategies for purpose-driven business owners. So throughout the 49 days of the Social Summit, each of my guests will come into the Soul Speaker Spotlight for you to share their free gift and also their soul-inspired strategy for the day. So I'm going to bring on my very special guest today. So please welcome David Ament. Hi, David.
Good day. How are you, Iona?
I'm really, really well, thank you. So let me give you a warm introduction, David. So David is an American businessman, coach to coaches, counselor to therapists, who made his first $1 million at the age of 29, whilst garnering multiple licenses with the US Securities and Exchange Commission. He built an in-depth foundation and a breadth of knowledge in the finance and the markets early in his career. Possessing an entrepreneurial spirit to the core, he went on to participate, I'm going to put my teeth back in, and start building the family business from startup to, get this, over 13 million in annual revenue. So guys, if you have any questions for David whatsoever, then you'll be able to leave them below. So David, before we go into your strategy for the day, do share with our audience a little bit how your path unfolded and how you've come to do what you're doing today.
Wow, how my path unfolded. You know, that's funny because I actually, as growing up in Western society, I figured out a few years ago that I actually had the value of myself was based on what I produced by probably around the age 10, on the late side. So I was raised in a household that was definitely capitalist. My father didn't necessarily have the wealthiest of upbringing, so it was a compensatory fashion that he specifically flipped to the other side. I followed in his footsteps, hung out with an incredible mentorship as I was growing up, and I was an entrepreneur doing things, selling things, creating. My gears were turning. How can I generate revenue? You know, so probably since single digits, but definitely by the age of 10 on the late side. And so I was ambitious. I had, as a matter of fact, my kids now ask me about it because they're in high school, and so they ask, what are these stories? They hear pieces of stories. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, when I was in high school, my senior year, I figured out that I was an audiophile, so I loved stereos, and that moved into car stereos as soon as I could drive. All my friends, I figured out, needed car stereos, and so I ended up saying, well, I can sell stereos to my friends and have them and install them. And then I realized I didn't like crawling around cars installing them. So I started hiring other friends to do the installation, and then college guys. And so next thing you know, I had 5 part-time employees. Well, because of my level of ambition, you know, when am I, 17, 18 years old at that point, I actually ended up having 2 other part-time jobs in the neighborhood where I was working part-time for other companies while I was having guys install stereos in my parents' garage. Wow. So that's a little bit of a start, and then from there it went on. Once I turned 18, I could legally do things. So
I love it. You know, I had no idea. To hear your story and you think, well, is it a smooth path? And to say that you had that entrepreneurial spirit, I can hear that. And that's kind of genius, right? Not everyone thinks like that and thinks, well, okay, this is an opportunity. I'm doing this. How do I? Because it sounds like you are leveraging your time and energy and money. It's like, well, I can get this. It seems quite simple and straightforward, but to think of that when you're of that age does take that certain mindset, right? So here you are, you've done the cars and you've gone forward that way. So how did you get to the point where you took the family business to the level that you did and then moved into the space of working with coaches and working with therapists and kind of doing currently what you're doing?
Yeah, you know what? That was a long painful. It's been a couple decades of a path. And the painful part is in the sense that I was focused on purely profit. So what can I do to make money, to generate revenue? What can I do to make profit? Creating or earning multiple licenses with the United States SEC. The interesting piece about that is that we can see right there from an early age is that I was focused on money. And money was the goal. And it's not necessarily just me. Men in Western society have a lot of this. Yeah. All of us do, both genders. Men more so, that there's a lot of value that we derive on an unconscious level, specifically from what are we producing, what are we bringing, what are we doing rather than being. And so the long process, what I mean by that is the fact that getting married, so I was very goal-oriented. It was, okay, I got to find my woman, so I did. All right, I got to buy my house, so I did.
Yeah.
And make money. So I was like, okay, let's lay the foundational pieces. Let's start a family, and then from there I can move on and I can build up, because now I've built the foundation for a skyscraper, so to speak, and now I can just start building up.
Yeah.
So the thing with me that was really, I lived incongruently with myself, with my core values, for, truthfully, I can't really say since when. Since my teens, maybe, likely earlier. Yeah. When it really came to the peak was specifically after I'd been married. I'd been with my high school sweetheart for about 15 years total. So we were married just over 10, and basically it was a breakdown, and not necessarily, it was more of an emotional breakdown than it was necessarily a economic breakdown. It became intolerable for her, the values, and it had nothing to do. So the interesting piece is that I blamed the money, right? So I made millions, and I blamed the money for it. And so again, in a compensatory fashion, which is very normal for the human psyche, is that I specifically said, I denounced money, and I said, okay, my issue is money, right? All these problems with my life. Yeah. Well, now that I've gone beyond the horizon and realized it wasn't the money, it was what I chose to do for it, what I chose to do with it, and who I chose to associate with in that realm. Right. So instead of taking it with a grain of salt, I was specifically focused on, well, these people they're great mentors in the money realm, not in the relationship realm, not in the family realm, not in the whole life balanced realm. And my life was way out of balance, And so part of my story is specifically that, right? So fast forward a few years later, and basically I've accomplished this business, this sharpened, honed business acumen, that now I get to live it in a purpose, right? Because messengers, as I coin them, people who have a purpose, who are living their purpose, coaches, authors, healers, speakers, experts, therapists, counselors, the woo-woo guru, if you will, right? I love these people. And the reason why is because they are living congruently, or closer to that congruency with their core values, which is so far from where I did live for so much of my life. I have a lot more to go, so that's the good news. Right? Yeah. But the beauty is that quite frequently what I see folks who are struggling, who they're living congruently with their purpose, their being, their doing. More so, the piece that's out of balance specifically is the material realm, right? This linear plane of time, of money, of material that we live on. So money is merely abundance, the energy of abundance materialized on this linear plane, right? In this, the human experience, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. This body is material.
Yeah.
It will cease to exist.
Yeah.
It does. The economic system we live in is money equates to food. Money equates to getting our message out, getting to the people that we who need our message.
Yeah.
Right. So there's three things that what I've discovered is that there's three things specifically that have to happen for your medicine to be received by somebody who needs it. the recipient they have to need it, which there's lots of folks who need what you have, right? That's pretty simple.
Yeah.
They have to be open to it. That's a little different. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't always make them drink. Third is you have to be there at the same time. So when all three of these things converge, when there's a confluence of all three of these streams, what ends up, we have this magical trifecta where your medicine is received, magic happens, your ripple effect becomes explosive.
Yeah.
And here's the other piece. The other piece is that so frequently I see, and I do a lot of mergers and acquisitions. I own multiple companies. I'm in a very fortunate position right now, and growing, where I get to work with these folks, and I'm one of them. You know, I get to supersize their pebble and the ripple effect to a boulder or a stone.
Yeah.
You know, and now that we live in this world with so much technology, there's 3 billion English-speaking, internet-accessing folks on this globe.
Yeah. Can I jump in real quick, Dave?
Yeah, please.
If you click the mute button, because I think we've got a little bit of feedback, it might start. Okay, thank you. What I heard you say was a few things which sparked off ideas in my mind.
Yeah.
With you saying that, you know, it was the money that was driving you, you didn't realize it was the money necessarily that was driving you until you got there and made those millions and thought, okay, is this as fulfilling as what I thought it would be? And then blaming it on the money, and then thinking, how can I live on purpose with that?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that resonates with a lot of our audience, not necessarily that they've made millions or they want to make millions or be financially free, but at the same time where you mentioned, actually, when you miss out the purpose piece, it feels incongruent. And then the flip side of living your life on purpose, getting your message out there, but not being open to receive that money. And guys, if you are experiencing that, and if you think, you know, how do I get to where there is a balance, just let us know. You know, do comment and do share your own experience. Are you at the point where you have made whatever money you want to, and then you're rebranding or you're reframing what you're doing because it's not feeling as fulfilled? Or are you on the other side of the scale, which David mentioned? You feel like you're living on purpose, but yet you're not receiving and drawing in that money because people, as you said, people being open do know what people are open to receiving and being there. Are you showing up where your ideal clients are? I love that. I love that you put it into that perspective, because some people can go around chasing the money, right? And it matters who you're working with, if you're saying, and what service you are providing. So now I know that you bring your free gift to the summit, and I thank you for that. And we can talk about that in just a second. We'll go through that a little bit. But you bring the idea of cash through collaboration, and that's David's freebie gift, along with your business partner. I know that you're collaborating, like you said, you've got many companies, and one is with Gabrielle. So thank you both for bringing that free gift. If somebody was to sign up for that, what would they get? Because that cash flow collaboration might just seem a bit too far off for somebody. It's like, what do you mean? If I can't earn the cash myself, I'm not open to receiving it, I'm not at that point, what would the cash flow collaboration mean for them? And guys, I'll put the link below for you to grab David's freebie.
Great. Well, a lot of times, so in cash through collaboration, one of the beauties is that we don't necessarily have every skill set, right, as individuals. And so the beauty is that we're able to create clarity. We're able to pair folks up to where, well, there's an interesting piece, is that a lot of times there's a little syndrome. I'll probably come up with some name for it at some point. But folks are sitting back, they're waiting to be discovered, right? I mean, I get calls, emails, and so on. They come across things come across my desk every day of the week where people are looking for funding, because I do venture capital angel funding, and run in those circles as well. And the interesting piece is that so many folks are coming to me. They're saying that they want something They want, oh gee, if I was just funded, if I was just discovered. And folks a lot of times they'll go into this disease of do-it-yourself. So they'll go off and they'll find all these, there's all kinds of programs out there. I'm going to buy this if I do that, and so on. It's a magic bullet is what they're trying to acquire. The interesting piece is that Oprah's not, so sitting back and waiting for the phone to ring for Oprah to call, Oprah's not going to call and discover you until you discover yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? You have to discover yourself. If you do specifically go discover yourself, if you do create some sort of focus and clarity, momentum, you have to create the momentum in a specific direction. And so momentum plus direction is where you can go in your specific direction so that you can discover yourself, and it's prioritization, it's clarity, and it's collaborating to where you can live in your magic and you can mine that gold out of yourself without necessarily going off to trying to do all these things that you're not good at that just don't feel natural, but by collaborating with someone else. Gabby, my partner, right? Gabby Taub. What's amazing here in Cash Through Collaboration is that the two of us are able to get together to where we're able to do things and complement one another. And so by specifically coming on into and I want folks to type in their questions in here as well. I see some coming up already. That's great. And just keep typing in the questions, because I want to make sure that I actually personally have all these gotten to me and answers gotten back to you.
Oh yeah, that's perfect actually, David, because what we'll do, guys, is if you're watching on David's featured day, then you can come over to the Facebook group, the Soul Speakers Tribe Facebook group, and they'll be there to answer questions, and I'm sure that Gabby will be able to pop over as well. And if you're watching in replay, do come over, grab the freebie, see where you're at in terms of collaborating, because when you of the mindset of collaborating, one, like, as you say, you don't have to have all of the skills there yourself. You can collaborate with different people, but there's certain things that you need in place, or certain things that happen in the step-by-step process till you're ready to be in the position to collaborate, right? So David, I love through your freebie, you actually talk about that starting point, right? So when people come to your free gift, you actually ask them that specific question, and guys, let us know if you'd have the answer to that question. You actually say, have you got a product yet? Is it yes or is it no? So does that determine, if you have a product, which direction you would go in through collaborating?
Yeah, it is, because it's so, if we take an algorithm methodology, even like a dating site, Match.com or what have you, so we can look at the specific algorithms and we can figure out what skill set do you have, what is it that you're trying, what magic, what medicine are you trying to bring to the world. But there are things that are impeding getting to those folks who need and are open to what you have. And so we can get that message out. It takes cash flow, it takes material, it takes recurring revenue, so that you don't have to focus on continually hunting or eating as far as finding clients, that kind of thing. You can only help so many on a one-to-one basis. You can help so many more when it comes to a grander basis and live more of your purpose. Maybe it's online, maybe it's offline. But yeah, we have a specific step-by-step algorithm to where they can go straight into who, basically, it shows so much more clarity of who you are and where your purpose is. So that you're not trying to do all these different arbitrary things, because everybody will tell you, oh, you're supposed to do webinars and you're supposed to do email marketing and social media and seminars and so on and so on and so on. And the truth of the matter is, if you're a jack of all trades, you're a master of none. So let's focus on the one where you're good, what feels natural. If you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
Oh, for sure. I don't feel like I'm working, guys. I get to collaborate with 49 soul speakers in the summit, and I've loved it. It's work, but I've loved it. And there's certain things that you do have in place that once you get ready, you're just on fire. You can just have more collaborations. And so I know that you talk about, the skill set and not doing everything. What kinds of collaboration, for somebody that's new to collaboration, and let us know if you are new or if you've done some collaborations, how successful they've been. and what you'd like to do. So what kind of collaborations for somebody that's completely new, who hasn't done many collaborations, what kind of collaborations would be an opportunity for them, or could they get ready for?
So it's a matter of creating focus and directing that focus, right? We've got, if you look at a stream will flow in every direction. When there's a rock in the way, it goes right around it. It goes under it, over it, around it, right? But if you also look at the California gold rush, they took the same streams and they merely focused that energy to the point that they would erode mountains specifically to mine for gold. Mountains, monster granite mountains would be eroded by this water pressure. The difference is its focus, right? There's even a water jet technology now where instead of using a laser, they use a focused beam of water, high pressure water, to cut metal. And so if we bring it back, if we put the blinders on the horse ourselves so that we can help those folks, we can focus on it, we can match up. That's the beauty, is that in a community, so I work with a lot of folks in Silicon Valley and so on. There are amazing tech gurus. There are amazing marketing gurus. There are amazing gurus who, they don't necessarily have a product. They don't necessarily have medicine to bring to the world. But folks who are walking through steps, like as I was a few years ago, before I was back in balance, who they're looking for more of a purpose and more of they have isolation. They're good at what they do, but it becomes a little bit empty. They're like, okay, I'm really good at what I do. I'm one of the best in the industry, but it's empty. And when they collaborate with somebody with a purpose, and they can take on some of that purpose themselves, so that when you do collaborate, when you do partner up, it becomes this exponential self-discovery, so to speak. It's self-discovery not within but without, to where you can discover yourself, so that maybe the phone will ring, maybe Oprah will call. But it's this collaboration where two of you together, it's 1 + 1 = 3 or 10 or 20, not just 1 + 1 = 2. So that you can take that to the market, to the people who need it, want it, open to it, and make a real impact like you're supposed to.
Yeah, I agree. So you talk about, I think we've got feedback again. Sorry, David.
Yeah.
If you can mute yourself, that'd be great. And I'll do the same. So you talk about for the cash flow collaboration. And so again, I'll put the link below that. So you talk about whether you've got a product or whether you've not, and then kind of getting people's, I hear you saying clarity is a really big piece. And once you have that clarity, it helps you to gain that momentum with your message, with your business. So the people that you're collaborating with know that you're sure, oh, this is what I bring to the table, and this is what you don't bring to the table. So you can marry what it is that you do with somebody else. So where there's gaps for whatever you provide, what service, product, or program, then other people can kind of fill that gap for you. I know that you talk about the kind of strategies that people have for marketing themselves, getting themselves out there. And if they have the time to actually do that, and they say, you know, building the list, I personally believe it's in adding value and growing your tribe. So who you have around you. So do people, when they collaborate with others, what are the basics? Do they have to already know the strategies? Do they have to already have a product? Do they have to have a lot of time? Does it leverage your time to do a collaboration?
Okay, so the beauty here is, envision this. We've heard this adage: a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And so the interesting piece is that we've got somebody in the healer space, right? So in the purpose space. And we know a lot of it's intuition, and then it's validated from without that, okay, gee, this is my purpose in life, or this is at least in the right direction of my purpose. And then we start getting told, well, you need all these tools, methodologies, etc., to get your message out there. You can't just you can't just hang out and and also on the material side, of course. If we do want clients or something of that nature, to where there is an exchange of abundance, material abundance.
Yeah.
So we don't necessarily need this whole skill set, and we don't necessarily even know what it is. So quite frequently we're on webinars, etc. I mean, we got right here on your program, you got 49 guests. Some of these folks are some real experts.
Yeah.
in some of these modalities of how do I get my message out.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to know it all. That's the beauty. And specifically, you know, some of our quiz algorithms, etc., we can take you through in 3 minutes. It's amazing in 3 minutes what we can take you through to where all of a sudden we assess your inventory. Yeah. So in finance, there's something we call asset allocation. Mm-hmm. And it's a matter of asset allocation is a matter of how do you want your financial portfolio to perform? Do you want it all to be high risk? Do you want it all to be very conservative? Generally, you want a blend of it depending on what your personal goals are. Now, in the case of this here, I can take that same philosophy and I can apply it right over here, which we have done, Gabby and myself have done, and we can apply it here to where we say, what are your goals? What skill sets do you already have in the material realm? What medicine do you bring to the world? What's strong, what's weak, and we can figure out where are the missing links in this chain? Where are the weak links in this chain? And then in 3 minutes, amazing clarity comes out to where you say, oh, so wait a second, these 7 things that I've been trying to do, right? Trying, the keyword trying, because trying is like this land of nowhere, right? It's not, you're not being and you're not doing, you're in between. It's a confused state.
In the fog, right? Rather than in flow.
Yeah, right? Right, exactly. Fog, haze, unclarity. So we specifically go through, you know, there's ways of, do you have a list? Do you have a product? Things of that nature. Creating traffic, creating revenue, product creation. But as far as that goes, it's a matter of we can go through that link. And it's called a chain link, a chain of 10 links. We can specifically go through those in 3 minutes. Right. Boom, boom, boom. Asking these poignant questions to where in 3 minutes you end up getting answers with absolute clarity of, oh, you mean I've been focused on these 7 links of the chain over here.
Yeah.
But the truth be told, I've got 2 that are dead on. It's this one that I didn't even realize either, oh, it's behind me, oh, it's in my back pocket, or oh, I didn't even realize this existed. And all of a sudden this one, and you realize that, oh, all I need is this one piece over here, because 1 and 2 are gold and I'm born with it, right? It's part of who I am as a spiritual being.
Yeah.
I'm just manifesting it materially.
Yeah.
3, focus on that. The other 7, let's put them on the back burner. Let's put them in the trunk. You don't need everybody trying to drive. You don't need everybody. Some of them in the back seat, some of them in the trunk. Once that starts getting some ground where you're getting your message out and monetizing in a systematic recurring process, then you can sit back and say, okay, I have this this inventory, what I call an idea repository, or a repository of some sort, where we put them basically in the boot, right? And to where we can go back and say, okay, we've made it down the road. Now I'm ready to augment some of my modalities of how I get my message out, who the people are that I've, whether it's online, offline, what have you. Collaboration fills that piece so frequently because we get perspective from someone else's vantage point to where we can, we can specifically go in there, drive together, and stop trying to do too much. Because we're trying to do too much.
I agree. I totally agree. So if you are what are you trying to do? What have you been doing that is working, and what have you been doing that's not working necessarily? You're still trying to make that model fit you. I love collaborating. I love forming what I call joint vision partners. I love bringing the summit to you guys. So David, I want to respect everybody's time. So guys, again, if you want the cash through collaboration to get that clarity in 3 minutes, then I will put the link around this interview for you. So David, let's move to the part where, and you've shared quite a lot actually. So with the practical things, you know, each of my guests are sharing the tools, the steps, the tips, the strategies, the checklists, and the soul inspired strategy for the day is about helping you to move and feel your way through your business. So if you are somebody like David and you realize actually it's not necessarily about the money, I want to move and feel my way. So do share your soul inspired strategy today, David.
Soul inspired strategy today.
Yeah.
Boy, so I want them to come over. My desire is, so that's the funny thing about me, I give. And so my desire here is that I want the responses. I love seeing the comments and the questions come up. I want to be able to answer each one of these either on a group level or personal level, as personal as possible.
Yeah.
And I want them to get the results, because being in this in-between phase, this not quite fully spiritual, not quite fully material kind of realm, right? It's that fog, it's that trying, it's that in-between. And the in-between is where we just create misery and anguish and suffering for ourselves. Pain's not, pain is something we are going to go through. It's how we achieve, part of achieving growth and the experience of this human experience to achieve growth. Suffering is optional. It's a choice. And so if we can bring it back to a point to where we don't necessarily need to be in that in-between, we can just do step 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in a manner that's congruent with us, that we see that we're living in our purpose, we're affecting other people, and it monetizes, which is abundance in this realm, the energy of abundance, in the currency, in the denominations, so that we can then market in whatever manner that is, in order to travel to get to people, in order to use online marketing tools, what have you, to get to the people who need what we have, what you have.
Love that. So I would, you're gonna have to make yourself. I'm really sorry. I hear in your strategy, and if you could just hover over your screen. Oh, thank you, David. You're a star. So I hear that you're saying that really it's being in inspired action, actually taking action to get your message out there, get your gifts out there in the way that you really enjoy, and the way that is actually going to serve you in terms of that energy exchange of money, and as David says, abundance, and really looking after yourself, getting the results that you want, not just spinning your wheels doing things that don't necessarily serve you, but having that balance. And that's one of the reasons why I brought the summit to you in this way, to have those lifestyle and those business and those marketing strategies for you, soul inspired, so you are living on purpose and you are making those choices that are actually going to support you to leverage your time, money and energy. Because shortcutting your learning curve, each of my guests have come in to the Soul Speaker Spotlight and will continue to share their knowledge so you can shortcut your journey, really. So again, I will put the link for today's free gift around this interview, and let us know. Come and speak to David personally, and hopefully Gabby will be able to drop in as well if you're here on their feature day. And if not, then continue on the conversation, move into the action, decide, draw that line in the sand and say, I'm going to get results. I'm going to step over that threshold, leave the baggage behind, and start to collaborate with like-minded people, so actually you can get your message out there to people that you wouldn't necessarily touch through that without that collaboration. So I am going to wrap up, but hopefully you've got value and you've got insights today with today's interview. And I thank you, David, for sharing your knowledge and your insights and your stories with our audience, because that's what it's all about. We want you to receive the value. We believe in transformation. And if you are someone who wants to provide that transformation in the world, then that transformation, I'll say it again, it starts with you, right? One person at a time, and that starts with you. And I hear David saying, he wants you to have that transformation, get those results. And so if you love what David's sharing, David and Gabrielle are also contributing to my Uber giveaway as I open up enrollment into my Soul Speakers Academy through the bonus training for the summit. You'll see how you can get your message out there, how you can collaborate on summits, on hangouts, on virtual events, on radio, and just have some fun with it in your business, but getting those ground steps, those foundational pieces, so you can have somebody else fill in the gaps that you don't necessarily have. I don't know everything, so I'm bringing my guests in and sharing with you. So David, we're gonna wrap up. Do you have anything to add before we hop off and see these guys in the Facebook group?
I don't have anything to add other than just the invitation that I know what it's like to be in that pain position on both sides. One being way out of balance, too far on the material side. The other being way too out of balance on the non-material side. and to find that congruency, to find that stride.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be able to contribute. That's my desire. That's part of my purpose, specifically the desire to help you get your mission, your message out in the world, your medicine to the folks who are ill, who need it. And come interact, come into our community, come play around, and let's do more together, because we can do so much more by collaborating together than we do in isolation off alone.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's perfect. And you heard that invitation. It comes heart to heart, and I hear that you're saying about being congruent, and I really do believe that, because sometimes when we're out there and we're doing this marketing and it doesn't feel good, and it's not necessarily working because you don't feel congruent with it. So finding a strategy that you love, and earning your cash through that collaboration, I can't think of anything better. It can be lonely and an isolating experience behind closed doors, right? So come and share what you're doing with us. We'd love to get to know you a little bit more. So I'm going to hop off, and I will bring another soul speaker into the spotlight for you and share more soul-inspired, intuitive business, lifestyle, and marketing strategies for purpose-driven business owners. This is Iona Meade signing off, saying I'll see you over at www.D.I.V.E Live online. Take care, guys.